I've been in real estate since about 2019. I've been a team leader. I've grown a team. I've dissolved my team. I started growing it again. I've dissolved the team again. So some of you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So I think I'm on team 3.0 at this point. But a 3-time icon agent at EXP, and just loving what I'm doing. So
awesome.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Real quick, can you just tell me a little bit of makeup of your business?
Of course, Christine Ricci, based right here in Westchester with Keller Williams. The Ricci team, we're a team of 12. And like Mike, I've dissolved, I've built, I've dissolved, and now I have a strong team of 12. Selling over $75 million in production, and we service Westchester and Connecticut.
I love that. And Melissa, would you do us a favor?
Sure. Hi, I'm Melissa Leifer. I'm also with Keller Williams. I'm based out of New York City. I do Manhattan and Brooklyn. I've been doing this, I started I think a year after 9/11. Just like these guys, build teams, dissolve them many times over until I finally figured out the formula. We're a small team. We have lower volume, higher price points. So there's 3 of us, including me, and we do about 60 million a year.
I love it. Panel rock stars, guys, give it up for them. And of course, you already know that you're the king, but give us a summary real quick of what the makeup of. Obviously, you've got the family.
Right, so we have a family, and we have about 500 people on our team. We do anywhere from about 30 to 40 million a year. Westchester, Connecticut, been in business for 17 years, but full-time only 13. I was pretending the first one.
A lot of us were. Okay, so let's start off with whoever wants to take this. What's one negotiation practice that you use consistently that helps your clients win in a competitive market? Obviously, this market is equally competitive as every market is in a different way. Right?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. I think the first thing is talking to the other agent first. Before I ever submit an agent, I never submit a blind offer. I'm always calling that listing agent first, trying to build a relationship, asking the right questions, knowing what questions to ask, and then making sure that they understand that my team is going to get it done. We have a transaction coordinator, we have home inspection services, we have everything that they would need in order to get their seller to the closing table, and in the most efficient manner. As long as they know that, then I have a leg up for other agents who are just sending a blind offer and saying, did you get it? And some agents don't even check to see if they got it.
I will say Michael Collier is probably one of those people that when you just meet him, you just instantly feel like he's your friend. So he does have that, like, you are so magnetic. But I've seen on the other side where agents are rude to each other, where I'm like, guys, we're supposed to be on the same team here. Like, we're trying to get to the finish line. So I personally have experienced you, and everybody loves Michael Collier. So just become that person that people want to work with. Christina, how about you?
Same thing. Building the relationship right out of the gate with the other party is very important. Secondarily, we submit our offers for our buyers with inspections already scheduled, attorneys selected, so we're building that strong team right up front, so there's no hesitation to execute and get the contract signed. So we build that team up front, including the relationship. So I tell my team all the time, use me, use my name. That's the reputation that gets you to that other agent that knows that we are deal makers, not deal breakers.
I love that. I love that. Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, all of the same things that these guys have said. The agent on the other side, I think of them as also my client in a sense as well. You know, I want them to have a good experience working with me so that the next time around when there's multiple offers, they'll either tell me straight up where we need to be, or I'll get inside information that other people won't have. And it truly works. Last year, 5 of my deals were done because the agents knew me. That's it. We were not the highest, and we were not the best offer. They just took us because I've worked with the agents before. They knew me. They knew that if hit the fan, I'm getting it done. Right. The deal's going through.
That's such a key takeaway that, when you have that relationship, you don't have to be the highest offer. It's just your terms are strong and the relationship is there, the bond is there. And they trust you. And you can tell your clients that.
Yeah. It comes back to getting the right room. I belong to a couple of groups that I've gotten to be able to know agents really well that aren't with the same company as I'm with, I haven't done deals with in the past,
And because I'm part of that group, I'm part of their family now. And so, along with everything you said, I believe every single thing that these guys said, but getting in the right room, getting to know people on a level so that you're trusted. When you put that offer, they know that you're going to get the deal done. Yeah.
All right, I'm a firm believer. If it's a question, you don't want to answer it, you don't have to, but if you love it and you feel passionate about it, give it to us. How do you approach the tough conversations with the agents and the clients without damaging the relationship? Obviously, what can we do?
I'll say that first. It's all about transparency. I mean, number one, knowing how to deliver, and that's one of my key things, is communication. Without that, you really cannot get through the process. So one, being transparent. I'm always forecasting forward, like what's coming next. And so as we're going through the process and things are coming up that I had already discussed with them, the trust that they have in my questions, in my conversations, in the guidance and the consultative part, they just trust that we know what to do and how to do it because we already planted the seed that some of these things may come up. And so that already, by the time we get there, we remind them of our conversation, and they literally just say, Christine, we trust you, do it. So the questions are important. Your delivery is very important. So I do pride myself, I've been coached by great coaches about just asking questions. So that's important.
To me, to cut you off, sorry. I feel like my whole year has been this, having tough conversations with people. And I think like Christine said, the setup is key. And also, you just kind of have to like do it. Sometimes I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna count to 10 and I'm just making a phone call. And then I just do it. And I try to be as emotionally neutral as possible. If it's a really hard conversation, I will actually just start off with, look, I don't want to have to give you guys this news. I hate making these phone calls. I really do. And it kind of just softens things and makes people kind of let their guard down a little bit and open up so they're not as upset or as angry as they potentially could be.
Melissa, real quick, Michael, hold on a second.
One quick thing. The dog doesn't hurt.
Yeah, right? Okay, I agree. But I have a question for Melissa. Like, let's dig a little deeper on that so people can see themselves through you. What are some examples of some of those tough conversations you've been having this year? Because I need them to see that they're not alone.
Really, like, where to start? Okay, how about this? We have an accepted offer, a contract is out, and then all of a sudden somebody else comes in all cash and the client is devastated because this was like their dream home. So then I call them up literally and I'm like, guys, this is the worst part of my business. This is why I don't like my job. I'm so sorry. I don't want to make this phone call at all. So like they're already kind of set up now because they're like listening to me like profusely sort of apologizing and like telling them how awful and guilty I feel. And I say, look, and then they also kind of know, they're like, oh my God, somebody out there asking me. I'm like, thank you. I'm so sorry. I know. It's okay if you want to like meet up. You can like cry on me. You can use my shirt as a tissue. It's fine. I won't wear one of my nice ones. I promise. Don't worry. And usually that seems to like, and then they're like, listen, we found this. We're gonna find another one. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I've got like 5 other things that I'm gonna send you. I wanted to speak to you first. One of them I think is actually better, and I know the broker really well. I told her what happened. She's like, great, let's get them in. She wants, we want to do a deal that they know all about you. So that's one. I'm trying to think of the other one. Gosh, I mean, it's like literally everything. I have, so we have this very different kind of property in New York City called Co-op. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. And there's a board package that has to be submitted, which are, now they're online. Yeah, they're like 500-800 pages. You have to, and you are contractually obligated to do this. If you lose your deposit, you have to submit every single thing that they ask for on that, on their instruction sheet. That is it. There is no deviating. You can't just be like, well, I'll send you, they want 2 years of tax returns, I'll send you last year's, but I'm not going to send you the year before. Well, no, you have to send us both years. That's what you have signed. Like, you don't get to choose and decide. So I have a lot of conversations where I have to get people to send more stuff or get their paperwork. And it's always, it's always a challenge, and, people don't want to disclose stuff. And I have to remind them, like, okay, remember when we started and I told you about co-ops and, how crazy they are, and you have to do all this, and you're like, no, I want one. I can do it. I won't mind. I'll get all this stuff. Remember that? And you're like, oh, yeah, right? Like, this is the part where everyone's like, yeah, co-ops are crazy. And sometimes when people get really angry, I'm like, oh, great, you're right on schedule with your emotional health. Perfect, great.
That's good. That was good. That's really good.
And then they're kind of like, either they laugh or they're kind of like shocked and because it's time. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I'm like, listen, I get it. Like, this is incredibly frustrating. And the only reason I'm not flipping out is because I do this every day, and I have been for the last 24 years. It's fine, like, get it out. Because, yeah, this is frustrating. It's crazy. And I validate people. And that's the key, I think, is validating, not invalidating.
So good. So good. That's a writer down, guys.
Do it without being a doormat, though. That's where it gets tricky.
That was good. Mike, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I just wanted to add really quick. One of the things that I agree with everything, obviously, and one of the things I would say is having that conversation and getting the agreement before you even get under contract, before we even start the process, to say, hey, here's how I work. I'm a straight shooter. You're going to love me, but there's going to be times you're going to hate me. And if there's ever a time that you no longer want to work with me, that's completely fine, because usually by that point, I probably no longer want to work with you either. So it's right? And they laugh, just like that, right? They're like, oh, okay, this guy, all right. You're right? But I always say, but here's the thing that I am going to ask you, and I need you to be honest with me. Do I have the permission to tell you what you need to hear, and not so much what you want to hear?
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah, write that one down. Do I have your permission to tell you what you need to hear, and not so much what you want to hear? Because when they say yes, I don't have to feel bad about making the phone calls. It already lowers the barrier. They told me that they are okay with the tough talk. In love, but they're okay with the tough talk. That's what they want. And that's what I'm willing to give them. And so they hire me to do the job.
You want to take this one, or you want to take my next one? Okay, so the next one that I really want to know is, let's talk about some creative problem solving that you guys are doing right now to get deals over the finish line. Because we're in a different market right now. People are like, what are you guys seeing?
So I think probably the biggest creative problem solving we are doing is trying to give our buyers, when we're working with buyers, the advantage, even though they're only 5% down and they're up against the all cash offer, getting them totally qualified so that when they have to waive an appraisal or waive some contingency of the deal, they're not as hesitant to do so. When our market here, the inventory is still really low, and so people are still fighting over properties. So, combination of getting them as qualified as possible. We have somebody right now that we're working with. Eric is working with them on our team, and they have a physician's loan. Zero down. How are we getting them a home in Smartsville? But we are, and
Sell them to a physician, no less.
that is true.
There you go.
Same thing with VA, right? When you have somebody who is a veteran and they're selling, they're so much easier. We actually have a buyer now, let's talk about creative, painting Dylan's working with them. They're painting the outside of the house that they're buying because it's a VA loan, and the appraiser came back and said, this needs to be painted. We went out, we got them a can of paint, and they're gonna go paint. The owner's okay, go paint. So that's creative.
All right, Tina, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing as far as, obviously, because you're also leading the team, but also probably helping problem solve a lot.
So I have a guy for everything. So that I have a guy, I have a list of guys. And even yesterday going to an appointment, they've been painting the inside of the home. They're from France. I placed them here 10 years ago. They're moving back. The house is painting. I mean, if they want the number that they want, they have to meet the expectations of the buyers. So we went through it. They have a painter outside, a painter inside. We have the movers lined up, the stager lined up, the organizer lined up. I have my other guy lined up. So everybody's lined up. And I'm the one that's facilitating all of the relationships. So again, it goes back to, being creative there for sellers. I mean, it's taking us about 3 months to prep one home for a seller to actually get it on. I will not take a listing if they do not have it staged, photo ready, and ready to go. Like, I'm not gonna set myself up for disappointment. We know how buyers are, we know they're picky, we know that a color in a room, they won't buy the home. So with the seller side, it's having that entire team ready to execute. We concierge the whole thing, play by play, responsiveness. No one on my list of vendors, they have to use me first. I trial them. If they win me through my services, then they go on our list. Otherwise, they don't hit the list. And so responsiveness, reliability, I mean, they were so grateful. They hadn't painted their home in 10 years because it cost them, they had an estimate of $55,000. My painter went in, $18,000, and they're like, why didn't we call you sooner? I'm like, well, that's up to you. But again, creative solving for sellers is helping them through that process. They don't know, and we don't want them to focus on the wrong thing that won't help sell the home.
Yeah, like I say, in my market, in our market, Orlando, we have a lot of what? New construction. I don't know how much new construction you guys have around here, but new construction eats our resales for lunch many times. I have a buyer that I just got under contract, we actually just closed, and the builder gave them $70,000 off of the price, $850,000 home. Gave them $70,000 off the price. Like, what resale buyer, seller do you know that's able to do that? So what I like to do when I'm taking the listing, I have somebody's like, well, you know, I really don't, the house doesn't need to be painted. I don't need to do staging. I help them to understand the data, but then I also take them to nearby new construction, and I take them through some model homes. Hey, let me show you this. Let me show you what we're competing against. Let's look at the competition. And what happens when what happens when you sit in a new car? Yeah. You start realizing you need a new car, don't you? Right? They get in that new model home, and they're like, wow, they're doing all this now? Oh my, honey, look at this, honey. And before you know it, now they're in buyer mode. That's exactly where I want them. Their mindset needs to be where the buyer is, not on the seller side.
So good. Melissa, any strategies there?
Same stuff. Staging is a big one. Big one in my market. Staged homes sell for, just so much more. You know, and it depends on the seller and how I handle it. If it is if it's a higher end listing, and I had one on the Upper West Side, and I've sold their family like 4 or 5 properties at this point. Like I know them, I love these people, and they're like, well, you know, staging is really expensive. You know, it's like it's $20,000 to stage something like a 2-bedroom where we are, and right, I know it's like a down payment somewhere else. And it's just a couple of months. She's like, it's really expensive. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's try it, all right? We'll try it this fall, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for a couple of months. And if it doesn't work, then we'll take it off for 3 months. That's how long it takes to reset in our market, is 3 months. We'll take it off, and we'll stage it in between. I'll call everybody who saw it, get them in, so we can, maybe do a deal off market before we relist it. And that's exactly what happened. First we adjusted the price. We were a little bit high. And then we took it off, staged it. I called everybody. One of the buyers saw it immediately, took it. Then we got into a bidding war. We're still off the market. I haven't even listed it yet. We took it off in November. Now we're in December, January, something like that. So now the 2 buyers are bidding against themselves. We got her $100,000 more than she wanted, just from the staging. Right. So, and I tell my clients, I tell them all stories like this, so that they know. And if they ask for references, I will give them references. I ask my clients, like, can I use you for a reference? I'll ask them, these people do it, which is so lovely of them. But that's the thing. People in our market, they don't want to renovate. If they do, they want a good deal. They want something that looks like a magazine. They want to imagine what their life could be like if they lived there. And we are literally showing them that. We are painting the picture for them. It's staging, it's beyond painting the picture. It's actually because they can walk in and experience the picture. And that's the thing, you sit on the furniture and you're like, oh wow, this is nice. What would my life be like if I sat on the sofa and do a spelling out, you know, like.
You do a great job of it. All right, take us home.
No,
Take us
I'm
home.
actually going to, in the interest of time,
Wrap us up.
I'm gonna wrap us up. But I do wanna say that I agree with everything each of you said. I've worked with Christine directly, in the past, and I know what she's saying is true. But we have a whole agenda, and we wanna jump. I know Colby's like signaling me back.
Let's do it. Wrap it up. You guys are awesome. Give my round of applause, guys.